Ibis, a true whale story. Deep in the bay of the coast of an old fishing village lived in a pod of humpback whales. One of the whales was a little calf named Ibis. Ibis was curious about everything in the ocean. One day, she and her friend Blizzard went out swimming. They saw many kinds of fish. The most interesting were the starfish. Ibis liked to look at them. There was something about their shape that makes her feel good. As Ibis and Blizzard were drifting over a reef, that they heard a strange humming noise. The two calves looked up to see something large and dark pass overhead. It was a big whale, but it wasn't a whale. The calves were frightened. They had never seen a boat before. They swam back to their mothers. The next day, Ibis went back to the reef. It wasn't long before another boat came along. Again, Ibis was very scared, but she was curious too. She forced herself to swim to the surface. In the cool, hazy air, she saw several faces watching her. They didn't look scary. In fact, they looked very friendly. Ibis liked them. In the months that followed, Ibis and her friend lost their fear of boats. Boats came in many sizes and shapes, and the people in them always seemed to enjoy seeing the little whales. As Ibis grew up, she learned more about the sea. She knew what kind of shark to avoid, what food was the tastiest, and best of all, where to find the most tasty starfish. Ibis never got tired of looking at starfish. People and their boat became a part of her life. Whenever a boat passed over her head, she swam to the top to say hello. One evening, Ibis and Blizzard saw a school of fish swimming around the bottom of a ship. Maybe there was something good up there to eat. They went to find out. Suddenly, Ibis was caught in a fishing net. She fought to get free, but the more she struggled, the more tangled up she became. Finally, she broke loose, but part of the net was caught in her mouth and wrapped around her tail. Blizzard swam off to find help. Ibis was confused and hurt. She wants to get away, far from people and their boat and net. Slowly and painfully, she made her way toward the deep ocean. Many weeks passed, and Ibis grew very ill. The net in her mouth made it hard for her to eat, and every time she went to the surface for air, the net cut into her tail. But if she didn't get air every half hour, she would die. Winter's coming, and it was time for the whales to move to warmer waters. But Ibis felt too weak to make the long journey. Instead, she turned back toward the coast. It was so hard for her to swim. She could barely keep moving. Ibis was about to give up. Then she saw a friendly ship. It was a blizzard. Blizzard saw that Ibis needed help. Gently, Blizzard pushed her to the surface so she could breathe. Suddenly, the water was filled with the sounds of boat engines. The whales saw two small rafts and a boat circling them. Blizzard and Ibis tried to get away fast, but Ibis wasn't quickly enough. The boat rushed toward her before she could dive. The people in the boat began to add large float to the pieces of net that were hurting Ibis. Blizzard stayed nearby, circling the boat nervously. Because of the float, Ibis could not dive. She began to panic, but she did not have the strength to fight. When the boat came in closer, a person reached into the water. Ibis started at the person's head. The head reminded her of something she loved very much. She began to feel better. Soon, many hands dipped into the water. Ibis felt them tugging at the lines of the net. Moments later, the line fell away and she was free. Ibis blew a big sprout through a blowhole, happy to say thank you. Then she dived deep into the water. For the first time in many weeks, she felt no pain. She felt wonderful. Blizzard joined her. Then the two whales popped back to the surface for one more look. The people was waving their starfish-shaped hand. Ibis knew the hand had helped her, and that the people were still her friends. Soon, Blizzard and Ibis were leaping and diving with the other whales, far away in the warm waters where they would spend the winter together.